April 28th, 2010, the last time Barcelona and Inter faced off against each other in the knockout stages of the Champions League. An historic night for Inter as they advanced to the Champions League final and Jose Mourinho knocked out Pep Guardiola. 15 years later, the two sides meet once again in the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. And only 3 years ago, Piqué was acting like a traffic instructor against Inter. But a lot has changed in 3 years. Barcelona have gotten a lot better and Inter are still one of the best teams in Europe. So we are in store for a great matchup here in the semi-final between these two teams. Welcome to the preview and prediction of this semi-final between Barcelona and Inter. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Which individual battle are you most looking forward to? And who will be advancing to the final in Munich? Inter and Barca. As you guys know, if you've been following this channel for a long time, I have Inter winning the Champions League all the way back in August and July. But as the season has transpired, Barcelona have been by far the best team in Europe. They play the best football. The attack is dangerous with all three of their forwards. And just the complete domination they show in every single game. Chance creation, chance creation, chance creation. It's just a matter of, can Barcelona finish the chances? And it's been a great season for Barcelona and Hansi Flick. Still in the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid. Leading La Liga. Champions League semi-final. Barcelona fans couldn't dream of this. They didn't spend a lot of money over the summer. They only signed Dani Olmo. That's the only signing. And yet Hansi Flick's coaching and the way he has gotten all of these players to buy into his system, how he wants to press, how he wants to move the ball, the crazy high line. It's all working out for Barcelona right now. But they're going up against a very, very difficult team in Inter. But Barcelona have all the weapons. I mean, Lamine Yamal, just a special player, as we all know. I don't need to go in-depth analysis about it. We just know how good he is with chance creation. People can be critical and say, oh, he needs to get more GA, more goals. He creates all of the chances for Barcelona. Look at that wonderful cross he played into Rafinha for that first goal for Lewandowski against Dortmund in the first leg. Rafinha in crazy form. Now, of course, Lewandowski is injured. Will he be out for both games? Most likely, we don't know the full circumstances of his injury, but if he's down injured, in steps in the Tiburon, the Shark, Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres has been a clutch player off the bench this season for Barca, but starting games, and especially in these two games against Inter, he needs to step up big time. We're probably going to see Dani Olmo, who has returned from injury in the 10. I think Dani Olmo works perfectly against a low block because Inter will arrive with the bus and defend deep. So Dani Olmo with his wonderful link-up play. And I think he's going to be a critical part in this matchup for Barca. And Pedri has been by far the best midfielder in Europe. For me, I think he's been the best player in Europe, hands down. The way he controls games, the tempo he plays at, chance creation, defensively, Pedri has been a machine this season. If there was a Ballon d'Or ranking, I would have him number one, and he's going to have to show it in these two games going up against a very good Inter midfield. And defensively, what will Hansi Flick do? Will he go with a bit more physicality and speed of Araujo, or will he go for the pairing that has been by far the best for Barcelona this season, Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez? And also without Balde, that's a big miss for Barcelona. Because Gerard Martin, he's decent, but he ain't no Balde. Balde is so good with his recovery going forward. Balde has also been a very underrated player this season for Barcelona. So it's going to be tough for Barca. But if you've seen the way they've been playing, they can score goals, they concede goals. It's not like a basketball game with Barcelona because they're not going back and forth with the team. But when the opposition has the ball, they do create chances for Szczesny, who has been great for Barcelona. He's going to have to come up clutch with some good saves because Inter, once they have the ball, they will create chances. So the thing for Barcelona is we know how they're going to play. They're probably going to dictate the style of play in this tie. And for them, it's about being clinical. You're not going to create 40 shots, 30 shots, 20 shots against this Inter side. Of course, Bayern Munich did create a lot of chances against Inter, but let's say about 10 to 15 shots during the game. 5 of those will be on target. Barcelona have to be clinical. So you're going to have to look at a player like Rafinha step it up once again for this side. Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, Pedri, Dani Olmo. These guys have to come up clutch for Barca if they want to advance to the final. But throughout this season, Barcelona have been the best team in Europe. Now it's down to them to showcase it. While for Inter, it's all about the Champions League for me. I know they want to win the Scudetto and they want to win the Coppa Italia. But if you ask the players, you ask the fans, they want number 4. They want the 4th Champions League in their history. And Inter this season haven't been as dominant as I would say last year. Last year, Inter were so good, and that's why it was disappointing that they went out to Atletico in the penalty shootout. Inter this year, they're just kind of going through the motion. They're showing sometimes great moments of play where you just look at them in possession on the counterattack, and they look so good. And other games, they're defensively all over the place, like the Monza or losing against Bologna, who are a bogey team for Inter. Inter have not been the most consistent this season, but when they want to play at the highest level possible, they are one of the most dangerous teams in Europe. One, because they are so good defensively with Acerbi, Pavard, and Bastoni, to a midfield that can beat the press, control games with Barella, Mkhitaryan, and Çalhanoğlu. And the fullbacks are key. Di Marco, and whether it is going to be Dumfries or Darmian. Of course, Dumfries would be a massive plus in this tie. Darmian is decent. Dumfries is better. Yeah, you can be critical of Dumfries and saying on the ball, sometimes when he gets into the opposition box, he's not the greatest, but Dumfries is a better player than Darmian. And of course, who will be the two strikers? No doubt one of the strikers will be Lautaro Martinez, who's been red hot form in the Champions League recently. But who will be next to him? Will it be Thuram, who is currently injured, or will it be one of Correa, Arnautovic, Taremi? I would personally go for Arnautovic because in recent months, Arnautovic is actually looking pretty good. But considering that Inter will be most likely playing on the counter-attack, you want a player maybe like a Taremi or Correa. Even though Taremi doesn't have the speed, but he does have the sort of UCL experience like Arnautovic. Correa, he's just Correa. Correa is there to just set up the barbecues for the Inter party. Will this be difficult for Inter? Of course it is. They're going up against the best team in Europe. But they have the pieces, they have the manager in Inzaghi that can fluster Barcelona. Inter are one of the best counter-attacking teams in Europe. They exactly know when to press, they know when to keep possession of the ball. Every player, I feel like, is comfortable on the ball. So stylistically, Inter can match up against Barcelona perfectly. But looking at them recently, they are looking tired. I mean, they are one of the oldest teams in Europe and they're kind of showing it, and the squad depth isn't the best with Inter because Bišćak off the bench recently hasn't been performing well. They need the likes of Zielinski back, so they need these key pieces off the bench to perform, like a Fratesi, and we're probably going to see Inzaghi rotate before this tie. So will the amount of games catch up to one of these two teams? I think for Barcelona, they're going to look at that Copa del Rey final and say, we got to win this. And in between the two games against Inter, they got Valladolid. I mean, Valladolid are just atrocious team, atrocious. While for Inter, they have some tough games coming up. So it's going to be fascinating to see how Inzaghi will rotate this team. Because you're going to rotate. Inzaghi and his players want to win the UCL. And tactically, when you think about this tie, you're looking at a team that are very good defensively. And yes, Inter did concede chances and conceded goals to Bayern Munich. But overall this season in the UCL, Inter have been a very difficult team to break down. While Barcelona, they score, they score, they score, they score, they score, and they score more goals. So which one's going to prevail, people? Is it going to be the great attack or the good defense for Inter and with some clutch players like a Barella, like a Lautaro? I mean, the individual battles we're going to see in this tie. Barella and Pedri are two of the best midfielders in Europe. Pedri, he gets the highlights, and of course he rightfully should, but are people not talking about Barella? Barella is a sensational player on his day, and he's going to have to be sensational going up against this Barcelona midfield. That battle between Barella and Pedri is going to feed families forever. Then you're looking at a matchup like Kubarsi and Lautaro, where Lautaro is going to drop deep to receive the ball, and Kubarsi might press up onto him. That's a battle to really watch out for, because if Lautaro is cooking, that spells trouble for Barcelona. And then I think the best battle is Bastoni against Lamine Yamal. Bastoni, also one of the best centre-backs in Europe, has his toughest test possible going up against one of the best youngsters ever in football history in Lamine Yamal. Will Bastoni be comfortable off the ball? How will he defend in one-on-one situations against Lamine? And for Lamine, yeah, I mean, the dude is crazy, and he's going to have to keep performing if Barcelona want to reach the final. A lot of good tactical battles, a lot of great individual battles. We are set for one amazing semi-final, and it really is reminiscent of the 2009-2010 matchup. You had Jose, you had Pep, here you have Inzaghi and Hansi Flick. You have an Argentine striker for Inter. You have a great attacking team in Barcelona. I mean, what more do you want, people? This is going to be cinema, and hopefully it doesn't flop like the Fast and Furious series. Who will play in Munich? Well, throughout this season, I have said Inter will win the Champions League. And throughout this season, I think Barcelona can do the trouble. This is going to be a great battle. For me, I'm going to go with Inter advancing to the Champions League final. I think they can get a 1-goal loss at the Montjuic. Heading back to the San Siro, I think Inter can turn it around. It might even go to penalties, but I have Inter on their aggregate scoreline winning 4-3. I could be wrong, and of course Barcelona fans are going to be like, oh, Michael, look at Inter. They lost to Bologna over the weekend. Bologna are a good team. I would not really look at league form right now. Even Barcelona, they struggle against Celta Vigo. They need a remontada there. Honestly, would just take league form out of this. It is strictly about the UCL for both of these teams. And we know those UCL nights, when the anthem hits, the goosebumps are going, both teams are ready to battle. But I believe that Inter have the pieces to disrupt this Barcelona team. I think Lewandowski is a bigger miss than people are talking about. Thuram and Dumfries can't play in this tie. That's a massive plus for Barcelona. And yes, this is 50-50, so if Barcelona advance to the final, I would not be shocked one bit. They are the best team in Europe. They have been playing the best football, but now they're going up against a very difficult opponent. Barcelona have destroyed Bayern Munich. They've played well against a lot of teams. The one team they really struggled with this season in the Champions League is Atalanta, another team that plays a back five, a very good counter-attacking team, and another Italian coach. So is that the kryptonite to Hansi Flick and Barcelona team? Is a Serie A team managed by Italian? Time will tell, but we are in store for a great semi-final. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, people. Which team will advance to the final in Munich? And which individual battle are you most looking forward to? For me, it has to be Bastoni against Lamine Yamal. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Remember to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, join the Discord, all those links, description down below. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time. Adios.